Morning, everyone. How are you guys? It is Wednesday today. I have lost track of all the days. I hope you're okay. Yesterday's a little bit rainy. I can see it's got a little bit of rain. Yeah, I hope you're okay. My hair's really frizzy today, so I do apologise. Yeah. Um, I'd love to see new English work. I've seen some great notes, and I can't wait to see some more writing this week. So let's bobify myself and head on to today's learning. So today is Wednesday, the 1st of July, and it's Myths and Legends lesson 13. So you should be here if you're in year 5. If you're not in year 5, why are you watching me? Seriously. Yeah. So you're going to need pen, pencil, paper, and Myths and Legends lesson 13 for today's lesson. So make sure you've got everything. I'm sure you do because you guys are awesome now. And you have everything ready. I've loved seeing your work. I loved adding class charts points to everyone who's sending in their learning. It's great. So today's success criteria, you'll be able to know about the myth of Hercules. You'll be able to understand how it's been written and who he was and what the moral was of his myth. So make sure you've got the date and ally written down for you, ready for today's lesson. Okay, so you're going to read these sentences below and you're going to decide whether persistence is used correctly or incorrectly. Okay, so Perseus had to show persistence in order to defeat Medusa. Did they use persistence correctly or incorrectly? Polydectes pursued Danae with persistence. Persistence is the key to success. At my persistence, the boys stopped talking. Pause the video if you'd like a little bit more time, but I'm going to go on to the answers now. So, I said that the first one was correct. I said the second one was incorrect, but I would understand if you'd said that's correct as well, to be honest, having a think about that. The third one, yeah, persistence is the key to success. It may be the key to success, who knows? And at my persistent, the boys stopped talking. No, that doesn't make sense. At my nagging, they probably stopped talking. Right. So, true or false for these sentences or these statements? Did these happen? Are these correct? Prometheus and his brother Epimetheus were titans. Kronos ate his children because he feared the prophecy made by Uranus. Rhea did not succeed in tricking her husband Kronos. Epimetheus fed the mortals with knowledge. And Prometheus's punishment was designed to last for eternity. What do you think of those statements? Do you think each statement is true, false, mixture? Who knows? I will go on to the answers. If you need a little bit more time, you know the drill. Pause the video. So, yep, Prometheus and Epimetheus were titans. That is correct. So that's true. Kronos ate his children because he feared the prophecy made by Uranus. Again, that's true. Rhea did not succeed in tricking her husband. Kronos, that's false. She did manage to trick her husband because he ate a stone, didn't he? Epimetheus fed the mortals with knowledge. That was false. It was actually Prometheus that fed the mortals with knowledge. And Prometheus's punishment was designed to last for eternity. Again, that was true. How did you do? Did you do okay on those? I hope so. Yeah, I hope you did alright. They weren't too tricky. Yeah, I hope they were alright for you. So, this is a little bit of a recap from the Titans' War. I'm going to fill in the gaps for me. Again, you don't need to write down the whole of the paragraph, the whole of the I know what I mean, but I can't put words to it. You know, all the writing there. You do have words and phrases down here to help you. There are 3 slides, so don't feel concerned that you haven't used all the words. And You may have to repeat the words more than once. In the beginning there was heaven and earth. They had 3 sets of children. First were the giant human-like gods, led by. The second were enormous one-eyed creatures called. Uranus feared that they would overthrow him as the king, so he imprisoned them in the centre of the earth. Gaia and Cronus felt Uranus was too unjust and joined forces to overthrow him. But Cronus' own reign did not get off to the best of starts. After being overthrown by his son, prophesied that Cronus would be overthrown by his own son too. So Cronus decided to his children before they could overthrow him. After a while, Cronus' wife Rhea, whose children had all been eaten by her husband, decided enough was enough. When her last child was born, she hid him and tricked Cronus into eating a. Okay, so pause the video if you need a little bit more time to fill in the gaps. I'm going to go on to the next slide, which is the next section, I think. So, Zeus grew up safe and sound, far away from Cronus, and when he was fully grown, returned home to overthrow his father and fulfill Uranus' prophecy. He began by freeing his siblings from Cronus' stomach. Grateful for being saved, his giant siblings joined him in the war against Cronus. They made weapons for Zeus and his brothers, and they made a trident. For Hades, they made a helmet of. I nearly filled in the gap there. To Zeus, they gave the fearsome, and so the war began. But Zeus and Cronus' army were too evenly matched. The struggle was so fierce and the fighting was so furious that it raged on and on and on. Zeus's mighty thunderbolts from the sky struck Titan after Titan, but still the Titans fought on. Atlas's massive arms crushed god after god after god, but still the gods fought on. The almighty battles between the gods and the Titans raged on and on until the war had lasted for. One more page. Pause the video if you need a little bit more time on this one. Then finally Zeus had seen enough. He unleashed his full power. Blinding light and deafening thunder filled the skies. The heat from his thunderbolts threatened to set the whole world ablaze. Zeus's siblings hurled boulders 100 at a time at the Titans. This assault was too much for the Titans to bear. Although the Titans were both massive and massively strong, the gods were immortal, all-powerful, and in the end proved undefeatable. Victorious, Zeus cast the Titans out of heaven and banished them to the lowest region of the. Zeus and his siblings took their place on Mount. Zeus and his brothers then cast lots to see which should rule the air, which sea, and which under the earth. And so Zeus became the king of heaven. Poseidon ruled and Hades ruled the realm of the. Pause the video if you need to fill in the gaps for a little bit more time. The next slide will be the first lot of answers. So I'll just read them as a list. It'll probably be easier. So Uranus, Gaia, Titans, Cronus, Cyclops, Uranus, Eat, Zeus, stone dressed in baby's clothing. How do you do to get them all right? I hope so. Okay, pause the video if you need time to mark those ones. Okay, the next one. Again, I'm only going to say the words in red. So, Cyclops, Poseidon, Hades, Invisibility, Thunderbolt, and 10 years. How did you do? I hope that you got all of those right. Pause it if you need a little bit more time. And then we had Tartarus, Underworld, Olympus, Waves, and Dead. I hope you did really well there. Well done if you did. Okay. 4 new words. Well, no, they're not new. 4 words that we already know. Tell somebody in your house what these 4 words mean. what's the meaning of them. If you don't have anyone to tell your imaginary pets giraffe instead of crocodile today, or write them down, completely up to you. Okay, pause the video while you do it. If you need a little bit more time, I'm going to go on to the next slide now that tells us the answers. Sorry if you caught the first bit of me yawning there, I do apologise entirely. So, gruesome, causing repulsion or horror. Grisly, and that's an adjective. Petrified, so frightened that one is unable to move. Terrified, adjective. Hasty, done with excessive speed or urgency, and that's hurried, and that's another adjective. And then we have got sneer. A mocking, smile, remark or tone, which is a noun, but it can also be a verb, which is a doing word. I hope you did okay there. We're going to go on today's new vocabulary. And there's quite a lot, so try and write down the ones that are really important. Try and write down ones you really don't know. Hydra, a minute freshwater coelenterate with a tubular body and a ring of tentacles around the mouth. And that's a noun, it's a fish basically. You can catch them on Animal Crossing, if anyone has Animal Crossing. Ferocious, savagely fierce, cruel or violent, and that's an adjective. Outcast, a person who has been rejected by their society or social group. It's a noun, but it can also be an adjective and describes somebody being outcast. Devouring, eating food or prey hungrily or quickly, an adjective, but can also be a noun. Murky, dark and gloomy, especially due to thick mist. And that's an adjective. Depicted, represent by drawing, painting or other art form. It's a verb, so I might depict my garden, so I might draw it or paint it. I probably wouldn't because I can't draw or paint. Loathsome, causing hatred or disgust, an adjective. Lured, tempt a person or animal to do something or to go somewhere, especially by offering some kind of reward. And that's a verb. Sorry, I can see there. Look, let me end the show. Where is it? There we go. It needs to be an open bracket and then a closed bracket. A Romanthian boar, and we're going to learn about that today. And that is a wild boar that ravaged the district around Mount Erymanthus, captured by Hercules as his fourth labour. Lair, a place where a wild animal lives, and that's a noun. Thicket, a dense group of bushes or trees, again a noun. Brawn, physical strength in contrast to intelligence, and that's a noun. So, minimise. Why does my computer not want to work on a Friday? It's not even a Friday. There we go. Minimise that. Make this bigger. It is lesson 13 today. Oh, you can see my face. Hi. So, shall we go on? So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to draw a table in your books. So in the first column, you're going to write the names of the gods we come across. And in the next column, you're going to write their labours. And in the third column, you're going to keep notes. Okay, so that's a little bit confusing. Let me open a new Word document to show you. That's a little sneak preview of the last lesson there. So, no, don't want it that. There we go. So, I need to draw a table. Now, obviously, I'm not going to draw a table. I'm actually just going to use this. So, you will need more columns. Okay, so in the first column, it's the name of God. So, name of the gods we come across. In the second column, the labours. Name of labours. And in the third columns, did I spell that wrong? Probably. Look. There we go. positive or negative influence on Hercules. So positive, negative. Actually, there's a quicker way of writing that. The positive or negative on Hercules. Okay, so you should have your table like that. You probably can't see what I've written, so let me make it a little bit bigger for you. Okay, so let's have a look, shall we? And I'll see if I can do it as we go. Hercules was the son of Zeus. Oh, so we've met a god. But Hera, queen of the gods, was jealous and sent him mad. Again, we met Hera, didn't we? So, he killed his own children to pay for this crime. Hercules had to complete 12 labours. He had to fight a fierce lion. So, now, it does tell us as we go on what names they were, but we know its first one is to fight a fierce lion, fight a many-headed hydra. Can you see how I'm doing this, guys? I'm looking here. Fight a man-eating horse. Or horses. Fight man-eating horses. Fight a fire-breathing bull. And, fire-breathing bull. And fight a 3-headed dog. And there's more challenges, so keep your eyes peeled. Hercules turned man and killed his children. Hercules was born strong, fantastically strong, stronger than hundreds of others put together, for he was the son of Zeus, the king of the gods and a mortal woman. He was half god. Jealous Hera sent 2 enormous snakes to destroy Hercules when he was a baby. Now, each snake was several times larger than Hercules, with ferocious teeth and a spitting, poisonous tongue. But when these snakes slithered to strangle him, baby Hercules strangled them, easily killing them. Unsatisfied, Hera remained his enemy for life. When he was older, Hera drove him mad. One day Hercules hallucinated and thought he saw 6 of his worst enemies and immediately killed them all, only to find out that they weren't enemies at all. They were, in fact, his own children. Hercules immediately became an outcast, hated by everyone, and most of all by himself. For his crime, Zeus, king of the gods, sent him to work for 12 years under the orders of a cruel king. The king was a heartless man, and he decided to set Hercules 12 of the most difficult tasks he could think of. These tasks became known as the 12 labours of Hercules. Okay? So, I just want to see. Aha, I did. So, I would like you to label the following statements true or false. At the end of today's lesson, we're going to go back and we're going to mark them, okay? So, Hercules was the son of Zeus and Hera. Hera protected Hercules throughout his life. Hercules' 12 tasks have become known as the 12 labours of Hercules. Cunning Hera tricked Hercules into killing his own children. Hercules became an outcast, but no one hated him more than himself. Okay, so true or false, those ones for me. Now, we are going to be doing Hercules for 3 days, so today, tomorrow, and Friday. So, for example, read this table, you'll be continuing on for the rest of the week. So, the lion, Hydra, and the bull. Initially, Hercules was required to complete 10 labours, not 12. King Eurystheus, the cruel king, decided Hercules' first task would be to bring him the skin of an invincible lion, which terrorised the hills around Nemea, killing and devouring men, women, and children. So he didn't just have to fight them, he had to bring the king the skin of this lion. When Hercules arrived in Nemea and began tracking the terrible lion, he soon discovered his arrows were useless against the beast. Hercules picked up his club and went after the lion, following it to a cave which had 2 entrances. Hercules blocked one of the doorways, then approached the fierce lion through the other, grasping the lion in his mighty arms and, ignoring its powerful claws, he held it tightly until it choked to death. When it was dead, he skinned it and wore the lion's skin as clothing. When Hercules made it back to Mycenae, Eurystheus was amazed that the hero had managed such an impossible task. The king became afraid of Hercules and forbade him from entering through the gates of the city. Furthermore, Eurystheus had a large bronze jar made and buried it underground. He could hide there from Hercules if need be. After that, Eurystheus sent his commands to Hercules through a herald, refusing to look the powerful hero in the eye. Now, there was a positive. The positive of that was Hercules was respected as strong. However, what was the negative? The negative was he was unable to enter the city anymore, wasn't he? And he had people hid from him. Okay, now I am not going to do any more of the table for you, but you can see what I'm expecting from you, I hope. I'm just going to rearrange this so it actually looks a bit nicer. Okay, I'm going to carry on with the reading now. So, Activity B, I want you to read the events and write a number next to each event to put them in the correct order. So, Hercules wears the lion's skin. Hercules is challenged to kill the lion of Menai. Hercules discovers his arrows are useless. Hercules blocks one of the entrances to the cave. Eurystheus becomes frightened of Hercules, and Hercules strangles the lion. Which order do those events happen in? Hercules' second aid was to kill the Lernaean Hydra from the murky waters of the swamps near a place called Lerna. The Hydra would rise up and terrorize the countryside. A monstrous serpent with 9 heads. The Hydra attacked with poisonous venom, nor was this beast easy prey, for one of the 9 heads was immortal and therefore indestructible. Hercules set off to hunt the 9-headed menace, but he did not go alone. His trusty nephew, Iolaus, was by his side. Iolaus, who shared many adventures with Hercules, accompanied him on many of the 12 labours. Legend has it that Iolaus won a victory in chariot racing at the Olympics, and he is often depicted as Hercules' charioteer. So, the pair drove to Lerna, and by the springs of Amymon, they discovered the lair of the loathsome Hydra. First, Hercules lured the coily creature from the safety of its den by shooting flaming arrows at it. Once the Hydra emerged, Hercules seized it. The monster was not so easily overcome, though, for it wound one of its coils around Hercules' foot and made it impossible for the hero to escape. With his club, Hercules attacked the many heads of the Hydra, but as soon as he smashed one head, 2 more would burst forth in its place. To make matters worse, the Hydra had a friend of its own. A huge crab began biting the trapped foot of Hercules, quickly disposing of this nuisance, and most likely with a swift bash of his club. Hercules called on Iolaus to help him out of this tricky situation. Each time Hercules bashed one of the Hydra's head, Alaus hurled a torch to the headless tendons of the neck. The flames prevented the growth of the replacement heads, and finally, Hercules had the better of the beast. Once he had removed and destroyed the 8 mortal heads, Hercules chopped off the 9th immortal head. This he buried at the side of the road leading from Lerna to Alaus, and for good measure, he covered it with a heavy rock. As for the rest of the hapless Hydra, Hercules slit it open and opened the corpse and dipped his arrow in the venomous blood. For the 3rd labour, Eurystheus ordered Hercules to bring him the Erymanthian boar alive. Now, a boar is a huge, wild pig with a bad temper and tusks growing out of its mouth. This one was called the Erymanthian boar because it lived on a mountain called Erymanthus. Every day the boar would come crashing down from its lair on the mountain, attacking men and animals all over the countryside, gouging them with its tusks and destroying everything in its path. It wasn't too hard for Hercules to find the boar. He could hear the beast snorting and stomping as it rooted around for something to eat. Hercules chased the boar round and round the mountain, shouting as loud as he could. The boar, frightened and out of breath, hid in a thicket. Hercules poked his spear into the thicket and drove the exhausted animal into a deep patch of snow. Then he trapped the boar in a net and carried it all the way to Mycenae. Eurystheus, again amazed and frightened by the hero's power, hid in his partly buried bronze jar. So, what are the first 3 labours? We should know what they are, write them down in the correct order, and then you need to fill in this activity. So, did Hercules use brains or strength in the first labour, the Lion of Nemea? Did he use brain or brawn? And fill that in for the next 2. And then once you've done that, you're going to write a paragraph explaining whether Hercules' success so far has been down to brains or brawn. I'm so sorry, guys. Use arguments from each side and come to a conclusion. So you will have to write a little bit. You will have to write a couple of paragraphs for me. Okay? When you're filling in the table, can you please make sure you're not just ticking, you're writing a couple of sentences with evidence. Okay, so let's go back to my PowerPoint. I'm not going to make you do the comic strip today. There's loads of other work for you to do, so don't worry. Okay, this is from the first activity, Activity A. These are the answers, so give yourselves a tick if you got them right. So, Hercules is the son of Zeus and Hera, that was true. Hera protected Hercules throughout his life, that's false. Hercules' 12 tasks have become known as the 12 labours of Hercules, that's true. Cunning Hera tricked Hercules into killing his own children, true. Hercules became an outcast, but no one hated him more than himself. Again, that was true. Well done if you got all of those. So this is for Activity B. The first one should be Hercules is challenged to kill the Lion of Menaya. Hercules discovers his arrows are useless, that's number 2. Hercules blocks one of the entrances to the cave, that's 3. Hercules strangles the lion, that's 4. Number 5 is Hercules wears the lion's skin, and number 6, Eurystheus becomes frightened of Hercules. Well done if you got that. And then these other first three labours in the correct order. Did you get all those right? I hope you did, because it was quite a fun lesson. Make sure you send me your learning today. I can't wait to see it. Have a lovely day. Bye.